Hi, welcome back everyone. Today in this class we are going to discuss about the electronic commerce architectural framework. So far we have discussed many things about the e-commerce. What is e-commerce and what is e-business? What are the types of e-business? And recently we have discussed what are the types of applications of e-commerce, isn't it? Such as Twitter, Facebook and many more things. But all these e-commerce applications need the support of network to achieve their e-business. But the network architecture should be the reliable and secured for all the types of e-commerce applications. So that is what we are going to discuss in this class. E-commerce applications require a reliable and secured network infrastructure to move their information among the business peoples and to execute a transaction among the business in a distributed environment. Okay. The e-commerce applications can be anything, but it relies upon two key component technologies, that is publishing technology and distribution technology. Here you can see a diagram that is architecture framework for electronic commerce. This is the multi-layered architecture of e-commerce which consists of essential blocks. The blocks which are essential are included in this multi-layered architecture. Okay. Here first you can see the applications, that is e-commerce applications, catalog based retail, marketing and advertisement, banking and investment and so on. So these are the applications which requires these kind of blocks which are essential. Okay, in that the first one, network infrastructure, and this side you can see information distribution and messaging technologies. Here network multimedia content publishing technologies. So these are given in the outside, and within the diagram there are some more layers, that is security and encryption technology and online payment infrastructure, then business service infrastructure, here identification and authentication infrastructure. So these are the essential blocks which are included in the multi-layered architecture of electronic commerce. Okay, so now we are going to discuss all these blocks one by one. First let us see network infrastructure. For all the type of e-commerce applications, the network infrastructure is a basic one, isn't it? So because everything is going to be done over the internet, it should be very reliable and secured for all the e-commerce applications. In that, the ARPANET was the first packet switched network that interconnected several universities and research organizations. If we consider the network architecture, the ARPANET was the first packet switched network architecture. The establishment of ARPANET led to several other experimental wide area networks. ARPANET was initially invented, but it had some modifications now and then. So the establishment of ARPANET lead to several other experimental wide area networks such as BitNet, CSNet, Space Physics Analysis Network and High Energy Physics Network, etc. So these are the establishment of ARPANET, and also this can be called as wide area network. Then the International Standards Organizations, that is ISO model, attempted to standardize various networks. Even though there were some of the network architectures, ISO was involved to make a standardized network. The adoption of TCP/IP as a network communication protocol by the Defense Department of the US government provided the much needed interconnectivity among heterogeneous networks. Later, the TCP/IP protocol was adopted by the Defense Department, which provided much needed interconnectivity among heterogeneous networks. You know very well about the heterogeneous networks and TCP/IP. You have studied already the network paper, so that you could have some knowledge about these things, isn't it? So these terminologies is not new for you. You know something about these things. So you are very familiar with ARPANET, ISO and TCP/IP and all. Okay, now this TCP/IP provided much needed interconnectivity in the heterogeneous platform. What is actually the heterogeneous platform? This is simply a network connecting computers and other devices where the operating system and protocols have significant differences. So the network is going to connect different devices and computers, but the devices and computers may have unique operating systems and protocols. But all these computers will work on a single platform called network. So that kind of platform is called heterogeneous networks. In that, the TCP IP provided the interconnectivity, that is much needed interconnectivity. Okay. The different transport networks interconnect using common network protocol standards called TCP IP. There might be number of networks in different network protocol, but all those networks can work commonly under the standard network protocol called TCP IP. TCP IP is concerned with the issue of providing a reliable data transmission mechanism for applications. Now the e-commerce applications are require the reliable network infrastructure, isn't it? So now the TCP IP is providing the reliable data transmission mechanism for all the type of applications. In this data transmission, to identify the unique machine, the IP addresses are used. The standard prevalent addressing scheme uses 32-bit numbers called IP address. This is what the commonly used methodology to identify a unique machine. While we transfer the data from one machine to another machine, the destination machine should be identified uniquely, isn't it? For that, they have used the IP addresses. But this 32-bit address is not enough, so that it was increased into 128-bit address space. It has been created to meet the growing demand. To do all these things properly, the common namespace is implemented. Common namespace is nothing but using the domain name system. It assures that each machine on the internet has a unique name. If a machine is having domain name system, we can say that it is a unique name of that machine. So the machines who are connected in the internet should have a unique name, that is called domain name system. Here the name refers to the combination of the host and the domain name. I hope you know what is a host name and domain name, isn't it? Host means it may work as a server which offering information resources, services and applications to users or other hosts on the network which are in the network. Okay. Domain means it defines a network domain or it represents an internet protocol resource. Okay. So already we said that domain name is nothing but a unique name which a machine should have. Okay. So the combination of host name and domain name is referred as the name of a machine, which is called domain name system. Then the transmission control protocol, that is TCP, which provides a connection oriented reliable delivery mechanism. Okay. So TCP provides connection oriented reliable mechanism, and it ensures that a byte stream emanating at one machine destined for the other machine is delivered without any errors, duplication and in the original sequence. If we transfer information or data from one machine to another machine using the transmission control protocol, it ensures that the given byte will move from the source machine to the destination without any errors, and you know that the transferring information or data will be divided into packets while we transfer over the internet, and it will be assigned with a sequence of numbers. So while we transfer the data, it should be reached in a sequence. So without any duplication, without any errors in the sequence, we can transfer the data from one machine to another machine using the transmission control protocol. Okay. TCP layer at the originating machine divides the incoming byte stream from applications into multiple IP packets and adds sequence numbers to them, and then utilizes the connectionless and unreliable IP service for delivery through underlying heterogeneous network. So this is what I said now. You know very well about these things. You have studied. If a machine is going to send data to another machine, that machine is called originating machine. The TCP layer which is on that originating machine will divide the incoming byte stream. The data which is going to be transferred will be divided into multiple IP packets, and then it will add the sequence numbers. That is, this is first packet, this is second packet, this is third one. Likewise, the packets will be assigned with the sequence numbers, and then it will transfer the divided packets through the connectionless network infrastructure for the delivery. Once the originating machine is transferred the data with the divided packets and with sequence numbers, then it will reach the destination, isn't it? Now, what the receiving machine will do, the TCP layer which is on the destination machine combines the packets together according to the sequence number and then assign them to the delivery. The transport layer, in addition to TCP, also supports a user datagram protocol, that is UDP, but UDP is an unreliable connectionless protocol. We said TCP is a reliable connection oriented protocol, where the UDP is an unreliable connectionless protocol. But anyway, the transport layer is using both TCP and then with the support of user datagram protocol. While we want to construct a reliable network infrastructure, it requires two types of hardware transmission media. What are the two types of hardware transmission media? You have studied, you should know. Okay, that is guided and unguided transmission media. So these are the two types of hardware transmission media. If we say guided, there are twisted pair, coaxial cables and many more things are there. And if we consider unguided, there are infrared, radio waves and many more things, isn't it? Guided means wired transmission media, unguided means wireless transmission media. So these are the two types of hardware transmission media which are included in the construction of network infrastructure, such as routers, switches, hubs and bridges and many more. Okay, the network bandwidth is depend upon the quality of the transmission media. Network bandwidth means the maximum amount of data which can be transmitted over the internet. It can be decided based on the quality of transmission media. The coaxial cables, copper wire, fiber optical cables, radio, microwave and satellite based transmission mechanisms are some models for the physical transmission of data. Okay, so now only we said these things under the types of transmission media. So these are included under the transmission media. So to transfer the data from one machine to another machine, we have to use any one of these transmission modes. The network infrastructure playing the role in many ways. Okay, from analog to transport highways in the traditional commerce. Information goods and transactions move between the clients and commerce provider through network highways. So far we have discussed how much important the network infrastructure for e-commerce. Okay, the next layer is information distribution technology. Now the network infrastructure is good. Over this network infrastructure, how the data is going to be transmitted. For that, what kind of technologies we need. These things we are going to discuss under the title Information Distribution Technology. These technologies provide a transparent mechanism for transferring information content over a network infrastructure layer. You know very well about file transfer protocol. This layer implement file transfer protocol, hypertext transfer protocol and simple message transfer protocol. It can also be called a simple mail transfer protocol for exchanging multimedia contents. What is called multimedia contents? The content which are included audio, video, text, image and all these kinds of information is called multimedia content. Okay. For e-commerce, providing a secured, reliable and portable mechanism is a challenging one. Okay. The messaging service offered by SMTP servers have been implemented by the various software programs that ensures the reliable delivery. SMTP server provides different types of software programs which assures that the reliable delivery. Some of the commonly used implementations of the SMTP are SendMail and QMail programs. So these are the commonly used implementations of SMTP server. Tim Berners-Lee at the Particle Physics Laboratory in France proposed the Hypertext Transfer Protocol in 1989. You might be familiar on this topic, that is HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol, which is playing a major role on the web pages to display the content. The protocol permitted the transparent delivery of hyperlinked documents residing on remote computers consisting of multimedia information. The programmers who are at the National Center of Supercomputer Applications developed the first client program, that is called Mosaic, which offered the graphical user interface for interacting and browsing the multimedia content which is delivered by the HTTP service. You know what is graphical user interface, isn't it? If a user can interact with the system by touching, by clicking or moving, then the platform is called graphical user interface. There are different types of HTTP servers such as Netscape, Microsoft and Apache are the commonly used HTTP servers which dominate the internet world. You know very well about Microsoft. Likewise, Netscape and Apache are also dominating the internet world. So these are the information distribution technologies. Now let us move to next layer. The layer is networked multimedia content publishing technology. Now the multimedia content should be published on the internet using some technologies. The information distribution protocol, that is HTTP, delivers the documents written in the hypertext markup language to the client program. Okay. The network content will be written in the HTML, that is hypertext markup language, so which will be displayed on the client program by the HTTP. The languages offers an easy way for integrating multimedia content residing in a variety of computers connected on the internet. So these kind of markup languages offering easy way of interacting with the multimedia content which is residing on the internet. The content which should be displayed on the internet should be converted as a document format. It can be easily done by the HTML, and then it can be published on the internet using the HTTP servers. We have seen some of the HTTP servers. Using any one of those servers, the document form of content can be published on the internet. Clients can make a request for the published information which is residing on the HTTP servers. While we search something through the internet, we will type the request which we want to search, isn't it? We will request for a content from the client machine, but the information actually will be residing on the HTTP servers. Once the request is submitted by the client to the server using the hypertext transfer protocol, the server immediately responds to the request by locating and delivering the HTML document. In case if the document is not available, the server may deliver the error message to the client. Okay. The client programs, also known as browsers, since it parse and render the delivered HTML documents on the screen of the client machine. Once the document is received from the server, the client program will parse and render it on the client machine, so that it is also known as the browser. All published documents on the internet can be uniquely identified and located by a uniform resource locator address, that is a URL. You know very well about the URL, where you can see the URL. Once you type a content to search from the client machine, it will show you the relevant details, isn't it? So at that time, at top of the search place, you can see the URL. URL address serves a unique name of the published document worldwide. Okay, so the document which is displayed on the client machine is having a unique name, that is called URL address. It will be displayed worldwide. The URL is made up of three parts. The first one, protocol name, second one, machine name, third one, document name which is on the machine. So now we said this URL is made for worldwide. This URL will be displayed worldwide, so that the URL address will first have World Wide Web, that is www, isn't it? And then there will be protocol name, that is HTTP. You could have seen this in the URL address. After www, there will be HTTP. And then the second one is machine name. Machine name means from which server the content is displayed on the client machine. That will be in next part. And the third one, the document name which is on the machine. The content which is displayed on the screen will have some document name, isn't it? That document name will be third one. The HTML is tag-based language and provides a rich set of tags that are used for designing the page layout. If we say HTML, that is a markup language, everything will be as tags. Using those tags, we can make an interactive web page and embedding multimedia object, and then hyperlinking documents, that is we can move from one page to another page by clicking something, that is called hyperlinking. All these things are possible by using the HTML tags. A simple HTML document can be developed in any standard text editor. There are many standard text editor. Using any one of the text editor, we can make a simple HTML document. The editors are Microsoft Front Page, Netscape Composer, HotDog are few of the several HTML editors. There are many HTML editors. These are the few which are commonly used editors that can be used for writing and composing HTML documents. So far we have discussed the network infrastructure and then information distribution and messaging technologies, then network multimedia content publishing technologies. So now we have discussed these three blocks and there are some more blocks. We shall see these things in next class. Okay, thank you.